What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Woo! I am excited because I'm finally recording my first episode of my podcast. Man, you guys don't understand why this is so exciting for me because this has been a long time coming. My timer just went off. This has been a long time coming. I'm talking about 5, 6, maybe 7 years now. I'm supposed to be doing this. And so many different things, so many obstacles, so many procrastination on my end, so many fears on my end to get this thing started. And I'm finally recording my first episode. So this is a big deal to me. So welcome. It's also nerve-wracking. Welcome once again. Thank you for tuning in. And this podcast, I finally came up with the name. I think it's perfect to suit exactly what this forum is going to be about. And this is the name of my podcast. The name of this podcast is called Us. And who is us? Us. You and I, human beings, male, female, the dominant species of this planet Earth, us. Therefore, this forum, this podcast, this platform is going to be talking about anything that pertains to us. There's going to be nothing that I'm not going to be talking about, from politics to religion to sports to health. It don't matter what it is, as long as it's dealing with us humans. I'm going to be talking about it, and this will be the forum for us to really get into that. You're going to be hearing a lot of my viewpoints, a lot of my ideas, a lot of the way I think on this forum. So let's get into today's episode. Today's episode, I finally came up with what I think my first one should be about, and it's one that's dear to me because it's where I'm at in my life, and that is parenting. So let's get into it. What I have actually had to do, I've actually had to delete the word parenting or parent and replace it with the word coach. So I'm no longer a parent, I'm a coach. Now, why did I do that? I also believe that what you call something affects how you behave towards it, right? If you call something a particular thing, it produces a particular behavior. I really believe this wholeheartedly. Now, for me, whenever I heard the word parent, for me, maybe not for you, but for me, it simply means I give birth to you. I was the one that was involved to bring you here on this planet, and now I'm your parent. Beyond that, it didn't mean much to me. But when I changed and I said, you know what, I'm not just a parent, I'm a coach. That word coach brought on so many other things and so many understanding that is now affecting my behavior that I want to share with you today. And I hope that this will help you. So in order to really get what I'm going to say from this point on, you really have to think delete the word parent. Just go with me for the next 20 minutes or so, maybe 15, where we at? Yeah, about 20 minutes or so. Switch the word parent to coach. You're not a parent anymore. You are a coach. Now, right off the back, even if you were never a coach and I just all of a sudden say, hey, you're a coach, train this person to do whatever. Right off the back, your mindset is going to change, right? You're going to be very preemptive in what you do, right? Right off the back, when we hear the word coach, what happens is, you know, it is your responsibility to create simulations before the real thing, right? So it's your job to really create an atmosphere and train your particular child or whoever it is you're training to become something. So you put them in situations that it's not really real life, but it's simulation. So I believe that's a big part of parenting. So that's what we should do if you are a coach. So it's the same thing if you're a parent. We should be preemptive in a lot of our interactions with our children, right? And I believe, like the good book says, that we should train up a child in the way that they should go, so that when they are old, they will not easily depart from it, right? And it says to train up a child, not to raise a child. For those that are in farming, you will get this very quickly. For those that are not, it might take you some time. But if you are raising cattle, right, there's not much parameters that you set for those cattle. The only parameters that you set for that cattle or for your animals is the basics. Make sure that they don't get harmed or they can't be stolen, right? That's it, because I'm raising cattle. So in the mornings, I just loose them out into the pasture or into the field, and they pretty much do whatever is natural to them. But I might put up a fence and put up a few safeguards to prevent them from doing dangerous things that will bring immediate harm to themselves. But why? Because I'm raising cattle. But if I am training cattle, if there's a particular set of skills I'm training these particular animals to do, I have much more strict rules, or I have more restrictions that it's going to be applied to these animals, right? So the day-to-day, they schedule in the day is looking way different. Why? Because I'm training them to become a specific thing. It's the same thing with parenting. If you're just raising your kids, and if we are parents that are just raising our kids, we do the basics. We make sure they are clothed, they got food, and nobody ain't beating on them. Other than that, they just kind of just do whatever, and they just grow up, and we kind of have our fingers crossed, and we're hoping for the best. Why? Because we're raising children, right? But if you adapt this concept that I'm not just a parent, I'm a coach, and I'm training kids, I'm training up a child, it means, therefore, then you're going to start to be doing other things, because what does a coach do? I'm going to make sure I get my kids up early in the morning, because that's what a coach do. The coach is going to say, no, you got to get up at 6. You got to eat this at such and such time. After this particular time, this is what you're going to be doing. You got to go run a couple of set of miles, and you have to do that within this parameter time. I'm going to be very specific in the things that you do, right? So because I'm training children, I'm not just raising them, I'm going to do a particular thing. So I'm going to give you a few suggestions that I think really worked for me and my family, my wife and my family, to really help us to train our kids and not just hope for the best in raising children, but training our children. Number one is compliment. Be very deliberate to compliment your children. Now, I know as parents, this is not easy. Why? Because we have so many other important things to do. We got to make sure the bills are paid. We got to make sure that you're okay. So we need you to help us out. So because we already stressed, we got our own relationship to deal with. Then we got you to take care of. Like, come on. So complimenting our kids many times can be like the last thing on our minds. And one of the things that I realized that I was doing a lot in my parenting, in my coaching, let me switch that. See, I'm still working on it. In my coaching, what I realized what I was doing, I was being reactive instead of proactive. I was only waiting for when things go wrong, and then I would do something. But that's not what a coach does, right? A coach doesn't wait to see if you're going to win or lose before I implement certain things. No, I'm going to implement things first and then put you in real life with the skill set. So complimenting your kids, that's why I put it as number one, is very important. And when do you do this? When things are well, when things are okay. Don't compliment them only after you have to scold them and do some sort of disciplinary action. No, compliment them frequently. Tell them of how good they are. And don't just compliment them because they have done something And you want to say, oh, thank you for washing the dishes. Thank you for taking out the garbage. More than that, compliment them. You know, you are so beautiful. You know, you are so handsome. You know what I love about you? Like in the middle of nowhere, like stop them in their tracks. And I had to really start to do that, like and really check the pulse. I'll give you a tip that I do. I usually do a 80-20 percentile. I want 80% of my behaviors to be positive and 20% I'm allowed to be negative. I always kind of try to keep that ratio where, and that could be for anything. That could be for how often do I get loud? Do I get loud 80% of the time versus 20%, or do I get loud 20% and I do a lot of talking 80%? I kind of use that gauge many times to keep my check and balances to make sure that I'm doing more good, being a better listener, being a better nurturer, especially as a male father, to keep me in balance, right? So to keep me balanced. So complimenting your children for no reason at all, 80% of the time. You want to make sure, I'm checking my time here, got like 10 minutes, that you are doing that before problems arise, so they can see that this is the type of parent that you are. You're not reactive, right? The second thing is don't sugarcoat. Oh my goodness, I can talk forever about this here. Don't sugarcoat. Here's one of the, I can tell you many reasons, but here's the biggest reason why you don't want to sugarcoat. Because of this thing right here. Let me take it off for you. And for those that are listening, I'm showing my phone, okay? Because of this thing right here, you don't have the luxury to sugarcoat. The minute you put this into the hands of your children, and I know the reasons we put this into the hands of our children is because of safety. We need to communicate with them. Many times they're going to school on their own. After school, they have to go to practice or whatever. So we need to be in communication. And not only that, it helps us with the FaceTime and the locations and all that. So for safety is why we put this in the hands of our children. But you must understand that at the same time you're putting safety in the hands of your children, you're putting danger in the hands of your children. This phone does not sugarcoat. And no matter how much safeguards you put up, you can block the internet, you can do all your blockings that you want to do. There are too many back doors for you to cover. And even if you're to cover all the back doors, you can't monitor all the back doors that your kids themselves will learn. So the most important things for you to do, you have to be first. You've got to be the first one to tell them to be talking about things, and do not sugarcoat. Back in the day, birds and the bees with my kids, I don't do birds and the bees. I do penis and vagina. When the penis goes inside the vagina, how does kids get pregnant? How do you get a baby? How do you have sex? Your penis goes into the vagina, you go in and out, then a white stuff comes out the penis. I'm straight with it. I don't sugarcoat, right? Never, and here's just my thing. Because your kids have this thing, and I'm holding the cell phone, I'm waggling it in front of the camera, this device does not sugarcoat. And this device does not teach them or train them in the way that you would want to. So this is why you've got to be first. You don't have time to sugarcoat. You've got to expose your kids to the realities of life immediately. Also, there's another thing that I think we need to be aware of, that you have to remember, even though you are a truth speaker, just like how we would like to protect our kids from certain things and we limit our responses and these kind of things and what we say, you must understand that kids do the same thing in reverse to parents. And what do I mean by that? Kids know the perception. They know the perception that we have towards them. So, for example, my third child, Hannah, she knows, she might have a perception that, oh, I'm daddy's little girl, right? Because she knows that's my perception, she also wants to protect that image and that perception that I have of her. So anything that might show her not as daddy's little girl, she's going to want to protect, and she's going to want to hide and want to not to break that perception that is there. Now, as a parent, as a coach, you should know that, and you've got to be the first. So, what do I mean? You've got to say things like, you know what, Hannah? I do expect you not to be good all the time. It's okay for you too. You know, I will never be mad at you if you can fill in the blank. And again, these are not conversations you're having when there is a problem. These are conversations you're having because you're a coach. You're having them sporadically, maybe on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, however it is you do it. You want to be having these conversations before problems arise, right? So don't sugarcoat. Have these straight up conversations. Know that kids are trying to protect the perception that has been created because of the relationship. And it's your job as the coach to be first and to show them that, hey, these are the expectations. And even though you are my little girl, even though you are the smart one, even though you are the quiet one, I do expect you to. I would not be mad if it is okay. It is natural, that kind of stuff. The third thing is have sporadic conversations. Kind of go with number two. Have sporadic conversation, impromptu, serious conversations. I love this. I love to just interrupt the mode of my kids when they're doing their. I said, Nate, come on in. Come. Yes, Dad. Have a seat. Oh, he already knows what's about to happen. I was like, I just want to have a talk. I want to have a talk with you. Sometimes we don't have that time. The best time to really take advantage of these moments is, let's say you're driving. One of the things I always take when I'm in the car alone with one of my children, because sometimes it's hard. I have four. But if I'm in the car with one of them, I don't allow them to just be on their headphones and checking out. No. I tell them, take off the headphones, let's talk. And then I would ask them questions. What's the major thing you have to be talking to your kids about all the time? Sex. If you're not talking about sex with your children, you're talking about nothing, right? Because sex is everywhere in our society. And it's important that you deal with the hardcore realities of sex. The other thing, you have to talk to them with sex and I'm waving that thing again, cell phone. Sex and cell phone, right? What is it? And I like to do scenarios. What are you going to do if, let's say, a naked photo of you gets out there? And everybody, what are you going to do? How can you prevent that? And just ask these random what if questions, these scenario questions, and then see what they say. I find that my kids love to respond to scenario questions instead of me doing it this way. So like I just said with the scenario, instead of me saying, I don't want you sending no naked pictures to nobody. Don't be taking no naked pictures and putting it out there. No, instead of doing that, ask a hypothetical question like, I was just thinking, what would you do to prevent, or what would you do if a naked picture goes out there? And then they'll respond. And then, well, what could you do? What would you say to someone to help them prevent that from happening? And then you go through the whole conversation, and then you'll find that they many times know the answer, but it's great for you, instead of you telling them and giving them instructions, for them to just be able to talk it through, and then you can add on to what they are saying. All right. The fourth thing is be consistently annoying. Be consistently annoying. Listen, if you are a coach, to every trainee, their coach is annoying. If you are not annoying to your children, you are not being a good parent. And I say this all the time to my kids. I say this to people. I'm not your friend. I don't believe in trying to be your children's friend. That's a whole different relationship. I have a deeper relationship. I'm not your friend. I'm not your co-signer. I'm not that. I am your coach, right? It means I'm going to do friend things from time to time. I'm going to be a friend at certain times, but let's not get it twisted. I'm not your friend, right? So be consistently annoying. If you're not annoying your kids, like my kids don't like when I kiss them at school, and like, Dad, you got to kiss me. That for me, that's my checkpoint. Like, yep, I'm being a good coach, being a good parent, right? As long as I see that annoyance, Dad again, Dad, why we gotta talk about sex? Hey, why we gotta talk about that? Once I get those reactions, those are all symbols that you are doing a great job. If you are coaching someone and trying to get them in shape, what happens? That trainee is mad at you. They're like, no, I'm not doing anymore. What you got to do as a coach, let's one more. Let's go. Get back on it. Come on, come on, come on. And let's all know, I had a few coaches. In my head, I'm cussing them out. I'm like, beep, 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 beep. Why? But that's a good coach. A good coach is to be annoying. It's time for bed. I got to turn off the game. They are mad at me every time. 5 more minutes, Dad. I'm in the middle of this. Nope, time to go to bed. You should have known that your bedtime is coming up. You got to go to bed. Why? Because I'm not a parent. I'm a coach. I didn't just give birth to you. I'm here to coach you so you can become and have stamina to do the things you have to do. I got 3 more minutes. Lastly, I'm coming on to explain the difference between being angry, upset, annoyed, and disappointed. I believe this is also very important, even though it's the last one. It's very important that you let your children know the difference between these 4 behaviors. Now, angry to me is when I could be angry about a situation and not disappointed. There's 2 different types of behavior, and I can be angry but not upset. I'm angry. I'm not upset. To me, angry is a harsher. I'm in a harsher mode than upset. Upset to me is a lighter mode or behavior patterns that you're going to be exhibiting because you're upset. What you have done upset me. I'm not angry at you. And why did I put angry in there? Because remember, like I said earlier, do not sugarcoat. It's very important that you let your kids know. There's times that I'm not going to get it right. There's sometimes I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be blue mad at what you did. I'm just disappointed. I'm not annoyed. I am mad because I'm angry right now. So you need to give me time. Let me calm down because I am so mad right now. Right? I'm angry. So they need to know that. Sometimes you're upset. I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm upset. You could be upset, which is a lighter version of angry. You could be disappointed, but you're not upset. So I'm disappointed that you made that decision. I thought I trained you better. I would hope that you would have made a wiser choice. So I'm disappointed in your decision, but I'm not upset, right? I'm not upset. We can still be cordial, that kind of stuff. It's not, I don't need to calm down. I don't need time out before I can deal with this issue. I'm just disappointed. So they know the difference. And then I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed is different from being disappointed because I'm not disappointed in you in terms of making I'm just annoyed at the decision that you made, because if they don't know the difference between that and you're annoyed, you run the risk of your child feeling that I disappointed my parents. When sometimes you're annoyed and you're exhibiting annoyance behavior, but you're actually proud of the decision they made. So if you don't take the time to explain to them that, hey guys, you guys have to know the difference when it comes to daddy, when it comes to mommy. I'm annoyed, all right? And you have to I'm very annoyed at the result of what we have to deal with this particular situation. So I'm not disappointed. In fact, I'm proud of the decision that you made. I'm just annoyed now that I have to kind of drop you to school. It's really, it's annoying me because now my whole schedule is interrupted. But I'm still proud of what you did. I'm still proud of how you went about dealing with that situation, right? I'm not disappointed in you. I'm annoyed, right? So it's very important that you do that. And the reason for that is, especially people that have multiple kids, you know that every child is different. And even though you might have one child that doesn't really seem like they don't care, they don't really hold things in, then you might have this other child that every single thing they hold in. So if you don't take the time to explain that, and you might be proud of them for something, but you're annoyed now at the results or the consequences of what you have to do, that child thinks you're mad at them. And you would never know because you never took the time to explain to them. So they internalize, and the next thing you know, like, daddy's always mad at me. And you're like, what? That is not true. Why? Because they confuse all of these behaviors when you're angry, when you're upset, when you're annoyed, when you're disappointed, or when you're frustrated, when you're, they take all of that and they put any time you exhibit those behaviors, they put it on the daddy hates me, right? So it's very important, again, that you take the time to explain their differences in what I'm feeling towards a particular situation, and then invite your kids to ask you, Dad, Mom, what is it? Which one? Give them. That's why I put like 3, because there's a lot of them you can put, but keep it to like simple 3. Dad, are you mad, disappointed, or angry with me? After a while, they should be asking you those questions back. Say, you know what? I'm angry. I'm angry because I still cannot believe that is something you did. I'm so angry right now, and I can't talk about it right now. And that's another thing that I encourage my kids to do right back to me. I never allow them to just be silent. If they don't want to talk, say, Dad, I don't want to talk right now. I need time. And as a parent, you have to respect that. If they say, you know what, I just don't want to talk about it right now. Okay. I'm going to be back in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, whatever it is you feel out the situation. And we're going to talk about it then. All right. So that's it. My time is up. So that was it for this episode, parenting, my first episode of the Us podcast. I hope that you like it. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever I post things here. For those that don't know me this well, I am not just a podcast talker. This is actually my first. I'm actually an artist, Sir Hall. So I'll be posting my music here on this channel. I'll be posting anything that has to do with me. I wear a couple of hats and I'll be posting them here. So thank you again for listening. Share this to anyone that needs to hear about parenting. I believe in specific sharing. I would appreciate it if you just share on your page just to say, hey guys, listen to this. I think this is great. I really appreciate you in advance for doing that. Please comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to hear me talk about, what you want me to cover. And again, there's nothing that I'm not going to cover. There's nothing that I'm not going to not talk about. And I'm a person, if I don't know something, I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't know. But I'm going to give you my suggestion on it and my viewpoints on it. So thanks again for joining me for my first ever podcast recording. I can't wait to upload it. It should be up by the end of the May. Thank you. Peace out. I'm here for the fame. Been sent by the sun. I claim the name. Jesus.